Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 27 based on novel. So let's start. No matter how composed Darkness Master was, at this moment, he too was unable to contain his emotions. Throughout the entire universe ocean, who could capture over 70 universe masters in one go? Rise! Holding his breath, Darkness Master held out his right arm. Instantly, that black pyramid flew out from his palm and started to grow at a crazy speed. In a blink of the eye, it had transformed into a lofty tower that was 100 million kilometers tall. At the same time, a deep abyss also appeared at the base of the pyramid. The black pyramid took aim at the black, disc-shaped palace true treasure before it right away. Luo Feng watched and smiled. In his palm, another ancient god eye appeared. Now, there were two ancient god eyes, one with Moshe body, the other with his original body. Go! Luo Feng positioned his palm to face the disc-shaped palace true treasure, and the surrounding godly ocean water automatically parted to give way to a root. In fact, even if there were occasional interferences, Luo Feng's willpower would not be greatly affected. The invisible impact of his willpower swept toward the disc, which contained a total of 72 universe masters. After being hit by this bout of impact from his willpower, 65 universe masters lost consciousness. Only 7 remained awake. They had extremely strong willpower and were the true elites of the entire team. These 7 universe masters had a total of 11 godly bodies. It's the impact of willpower. Block it. What should we do? The 7 universe masters with their 11 godly bodies were panicking. The other universe masters who had weaker willpower were all knocked out, so there was no way they could render any help. With only 7 left, how were they going to resist? Plus, the other palace true treasures of the Freedom Alliance were at least 10 billion kilometers away. Help would not arrive as quickly as they needed it. Black Prison Tower is swallowing. Block it. Hang on. If we are sucked into Black Prison Tower, we are finished. The 7 universe masters were in a heightened state of panic and were losing their minds with every passing moment. No matter how insanely they fought, their efforts to resist were futile. Previously, they had many universe masters, so they could wipe out the godly ocean water obstacles that surrounded them. With concerted efforts, they had overcome the obstacles placed in their way by 5-color Aurora Lake and Golden County. But now that they were left with only 7 universe masters, manipulating their palace true treasures to move was difficult. Now, they were facing the danger of being sucked into Black Prison Tower. If it was only being swallowed by Black Prison Tower, perhaps they could still put up a fight to counterattack. But there was also the annoying godly ocean water in their surroundings, which was dealing them multiple blows and pushing them steadily toward their doom. This godly ocean was pushing their palace true treasure in the direction of Black Prison Tower. No, there is no way I can block it. I'm unable to block it. No. These universe masters, albeit most unwillingly, were annihilated. In the faraway core ground of the Freedom Alliance, on the island that was seated in the middle of the endless golden waves, over 400 universe masters and Shahua Island leader had all left their godly avatars. We are unable to block it. We are hit by the impact of the willpower. Only 7 of us, who are barely able to resist it, remain. And we are also under a double oppressive force by 5-color Aurora Lake and the godly ocean water. Now, with Black Prison Tower swallowing, we are unable to put up further resistance. The palace is heading toward that Black Prison Tower now. Everyone, please save us. On the numerous thrones, especially those in one particular section, various godly avatars of Universe Masters Saturday. None made a single move. They had all lost consciousness. Only the 7 who could resist the impact were left, and they were all extremely worried. We are too far away. There is no way we can make it there in time. We are facing double obstructions by the godly ocean waters and 5-color Aurora Lake. The hindering force is far too great. It is simply impossible to accelerate, simply impossible to reach light speed, not to mention about entering the dark universe. How? Groups of universe masters in the other palace true treasures might not be facing any fatal risks, but seeing how their fellow alliance members were being attacked, they could not help but worry and panic about facing the same fate. Suddenly, the 7 universe masters, who had been anxious a moment ago, showed looks of despair as they said, "We are being swallowed by Black Prison Tower. All 72 of us universe masters have been swallowed by Black Prison Tower." Instantly, everything in the surroundings quietened down. 72 universe masters? Heavens! It was just a short moment of peace and quiet. Then, soon enough, those universe masters from the Freedom Alliance who had managed to survive the ordeal grew even more anxious. It was that item with impactful willpower. It was that item with impactful willpower. If not for that, with over 70 universe masters combining forces, even if we were temporarily trapped in the godly ocean waters, that Black Tower prison will not be able to swallow us all. True. So long as that treasure is around, our advantage of having greater numbers will no longer exist. Over 70 universe masters. In an instant, 90% were knocked out and only 7 are left to continue resisting. What should we do? If we had known this earlier, we would not have divided ourselves into 6 teams. If we were all combined in one team, with over 400 universe masters gathered together, I think at least a few dozen universe masters would be able to resist the impact of being hit by that willpower. Also, with Shahua Island leader around, we would not be taking such a passive approach. Who could have expected Luo Feng would come up with this endless godly ocean water to trap us? The Freedom Alliance was filled with apprehension. Earlier, they had decided on splitting up into 6 teams for 2 reasons. For one thing, there would be 6 major factions to deal with the human camp. For another, if they planned to join the United Forces Alliance, even if any of these 6 teams were hit by the impactful willpower, at least only part of the alliance would be affected. If they all congregated at the same place, it would mean that their combat power was straight away reduced by 90%. Ha ha ha. At that moment, even Darkness Master, who was usually so composed and aloof, could not contain his emotions any further. He broke into hearty laughter. That huge, black pyramid shrank rapidly to land within his palm. Over 70 universe masters, all captured in one swift move. Darkness Master stood amidst the mighty godly ocean water and could not help gloating. Comparing all the Universe Supreme Masters in Universe Ocean, I suppose there won't be many who have achieved such a great feat. Then he looked toward Luo Feng, who was by his side. He knew that to be able to achieve something so great, there were, of course, many unique factors. For one, they had a strange object like the ancient god Eye. With its impactful willpower, they could deprive opponents of the advantage of greater numbers. Secondly, with the godly ocean waters and the 5-color Aurora Lake intertwining and surrounding the enemy, there was no way the opponent could escape. Thirdly, Luo Feng had been, unexpectedly, capable of blocking a soul attack that was jointly launched by over 800 Universe Masters and over 10 Supreme Masters. This had rendered the United Forces Alliance helpless before Luo Feng, so they could only struggle within his remote ocean. Darkness Master looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, we have you to thank this time around. Luck, said Luo Feng. He shook his head. A combination of various factors allowed us to make it this far. Not one could have been left out. As for my remote ocean, moving it about is extremely tough. If the United Forces Alliance had been able to escape, I think it would have been very difficult to come by another opportunity like this. Moving the vast remote ocean was indeed extremely tough. If enemies were far off, there wasn't much remote ocean could do. If they had managed to escape this time, they would have had no trouble making it further than this area, a few light years away, unless the humans remained hidden within this area under the influence of the remote ocean. If not, once they left this area of influence, without the protection of remote ocean, they were bound to be trampled on. That's why? Darkness Master said in his cold voice, we need to make good use of this opportunity. Make them fall into your remote ocean, then, in one swift move, capture as many as we can. That way, the number of Universe Masters in our human camp will greatly increase. True. Luo Feng nodded with a solemn expression. Such an opportunity is hard to come by. We must capture as many Universe Masters as we can. Within Black Prison Tower. Upon being captured, the 72 Universe Masters from various races heard a voice the moment they fell into that endless dark space. Dear all from Freedom Alliance, do not worry. So long as you do not treat us as your enemies, and express your willingness to help us, we, humans, will not harm any of you. We are willing to help the humans. We are willing to help. We are willing to join the human camp. Many Universe Masters of the various races were already in great despair, which was why, when they heard the voice, they immediately shouted to express their willingness. Joining the human side was what they had originally intended to do in the past. It was just that Purple Moon Holy Land had offered them more appealing terms. This was why they had decided to help the United Forces Alliance. Yet, no matter how great the potential benefit, nothing mattered more than being alive. All of them surrendered. Even those who had other bodies and were thus not facing any life-threatening danger were willing to surrender to the humans. After all, they were unwilling to give up the godly bodies that were mainly used in war. Furthermore, they were also unwilling to give up on the various true treasures they had spent countless years accumulating. Because Five-Color Aurora Lake and Golden Country were joining forces to keep 11 Chew Starlight River suppressed, the United Forces Alliance and the Freedom Alliance were unable to promptly learn of each other's situation. Northern Territory Alliance Master then crossed the distance to directly contact Shahua Island leader, who updated him on the situation. The humans have combined the powers of a treasure with impactful willpower, Black Prison Tower, Godly Ocean Water, and Five-Color Aurora Lake when fighting us. They have already captured one of the Freedom Alliance's teams. What? This piece of news shocked Northern Territory Alliance Master. The humans' main power was still fighting the United Forces Alliance. Godly powers were bombarding one another as the battle raged on. So, what was happening here was only for show. The real deal was over at the other side. Northern Alliance Master quickly transmitted a voice message. Everyone. The human camp is using a combination of various true treasures, the treasure with impactful willpower, Black Prison Tower, Godly Ocean Water, and several others. They have already captured one of the teams from our Freedom Alliance. Proceed with the utmost caution. Do not let the humans get their way. With a move of intention, he transmitted the message via the conscious mind. He had to send the information to every other Universe Supreme Master. A move of intention was a unique method used by a Universe Supreme Master. To reach the level of a Universe Master from a normal ordinary great being, they all had to rely on the primal universe origin. Everything about them, for instance, their godly powers, was dependent on what the primal universe origin bestowed upon them, which was why there were numerous laws of the universe origin that they were unable to resist no matter how strong they were. The reason was simply because the source of their strength originated from the primal universe origin. As for Universe Supreme Masters, they would have their own universe. They relied on themselves. As a result, they could easily resist the beckoning of the dark universe and easily exceed the speed of light to continue to remain within the space of the primal universe. They could also glide across vast stretches of time and space to land somewhere far away. Of course, they had weaknesses too. For instance, the talent technique given by the primal universe, the ability to divide bodies, along with some other talent techniques, would all be taken away. The primal universe would no longer bestow any kindness to them. They would have to depend on themselves in all aspects. Not good. Father God of Automaton Race also transmitted his thoughts. Anxiously, he said, "We cannot allow the humans to capture Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance as they please. There are many Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance. If they are captured by the humans, I'm afraid they will quickly switch sides over to the human camp. By then, the human camp will increase in strength. Even without this godly power of ocean water or any other devious means, they will not fear us at all. Hurry. We shall leave this area under the influence of the remote ocean right away. And we will do our best to help the Freedom Alliance, one team at a time. The more teams we help, the fewer teams the humans capture. The Freedom Alliance has a total of 6 teams, and one of them is headed by Shahua Island leader, which means the humans will be able to capture as many as 5 teams. That means over 300 Universe Masters. Once they are all captured, the number of Universe Masters in the human camp will soar to more than 500, which makes up more than half the number of Universe Masters in the entire Primal universe. By then, for all eternity, we will no longer be able to suppress the humans. Hurry. The United Forces Alliance was growing anxious, but they were also clear that understanding what to do was one thing, whether they could achieve it or not was another story altogether. Get in, everyone. Get in. Father God from the Automaton Race, Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, Prison Race Devil Ancestor, Holy Master from the Crystal Race, Bug Empress, Northern Territory Alliance Master, Space Beast Ancestor, Black Universe Creator, Jew, Virtual Real Devil Master, and Shahua Island Leader all gathered the Universe Masters under them back to their world rings or true treasure palaces. For what it was worth, the United Forces Alliance team didn't count on winning anymore. They just wanted to get away while preserving as much power as possible. As long as they could escape remote ocean, the humans were still at a disadvantage. However, if the humans captured a group of Universe Masters, the United Forces Alliance would lose that group of Universe Masters, who could add to the humans' power. The effect was significant. Quick! Luophone transmitted his voice in remote ocean. Uncle Darkness, we need to act now. The United Forces Alliance is making a last-ditch struggle. Okay. Darkness Master was nervous. Mosha Body, beside Star Tower, was holding Ancient God Eye, standing on top of the ocean. He turned around and looked at Star Tower, saying, "Teacher, the United Forces Alliance is making a last struggle. We need to capture as many Universe Masters as possible. I'll go use Star Tower. We have more than 100 Universe Masters here." "We don't need Star Tower," Primal Chaos City leader urged. "Go and capture those Universe Masters." "Okay." Mosha Luophone waved his hand, and Star Tower shrank and fell into his hands. "Go." Mosha Body reached light speed and entered the dark universe, trying to capture the Universe Masters as quickly as possible. Larger. 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 A giant silver snake was swimming in the endless ocean, enlarging itself. Dream Demon Ancestor controlled the True Treasure Palace. However, when the Pinnacle True Treasure tried to enlarge itself, it was suppressed by the Godly Power Ocean and couldn't get larger. It put back his True Treasure Palace and showed its original body. Its godly body became larger. The ocean's binding power couldn't match that of Universe Supreme Master Dream Demon Ancestor. It couldn't enlarge itself infinitely. Without restraint, it could enlarge itself like Star Tower. However, if it was confined to a small area, an area would decide how much it could bulge. If it was in a cave on an ordinary planet, it could easily become larger and crash through the resistance. However, in a room in Boat of Mausoleum, even a Supreme True Treasure couldn't break through it. When Luophone was encircled by the Universe Supreme Masters in Universe Ocean of Mausoleum had been devoured by the Eternal True God of Divine Eye Clan, yet it could still bulge and crash through that Eternal True Treasure. Ordinary Supreme True Treasures couldn't do that. Damn Godly Power Ocean. Northern Territory Alliance Master, Father God, Shock Demon Ancestor, and Virtual Real Devil Master were all furious yet helpless. They couldn't even control True Treasure Palaces, so they would rather control their own godly bodies. They all revealed their true bodies and started to grow larger. Although the power of their bodies was stronger than Luophone's Godly Power Ocean, the ocean was performing Duan Mia, the resistance was still strong, and it was only slightly weak than them. Their godly bodies couldn't be enlarged quickly enough. Generally, they could become 10 billion kilometers long immediately, but at the moment, the rate was much slower: 1 million kilometers, 10 million kilometers, 50 million kilometers, 100 million kilometers. Larger, larger, larger. Bug Empress's Empress Palace was becoming larger at a normal speed. Empress Palace was a supreme true treasure, so it was strong enough. All the 12 giant objects were bulging, including Empress Palace and the original bodies of the 11 Universe Supreme Masters. Those original bodies, whether they be a silver snake, a wicked giant, a beast, or a beauty, were all growing. 100 million kilometers, 500 million kilometers, 1 billion kilometers. The ocean water tried to suppress the bodies, making them slower and slower. Empress Palace, however, was still fast and was already tens of billions of kilometers tall. The human team watched the 12 giant objects becoming larger and larger in remote ocean water. They want to enlarge their godly bodies to draw closer to each other so that they can help the Freedom Alliance, said Primal Chaos City leader. He watched the Universe Supreme Masters from the United Forces Alliance growing. He waved his right hand, and an art valuable floated on the water, quickly becoming larger. A mountain, a lake, and a wooden house. The mountain, the peaceful lake, and the wooden house floated on the tumbling Godly Power Ocean, which confused all the Universe Masters from the other races. What was Primal Chaos City leader doing? One of Primal Chaos City leader's bodies appeared and walked to the mountain while another body walked to the lake. Wang! A green sky covered the Godly Power Ocean, and grey land stretched out under it. Hong! The wooden house was like the center of the universe, gleaming and covering an area of 1 square light year. The green sky and the grey land were like two lids, combining into a universe whose center was the wooden house. What is this? The Universe Masters of other races felt a strong pressure as the endless light covered the entire area. The 11 Universe Supreme Masters and Empress Palace all slowed down immediately and sharply. Palm Universe and 5-color Aurora Lake combined were dissipating the golden country of Luophone. After all, Golden Country overlapped with Palm Universe. Palm Universe and 5-color Aurora Lake. The two of them combined were so powerful that 11 Chu Starlight Lake was annihilated as well. What is that? How can the humans have another valuable? It's a valuable for controlling space and time. It seems to be more powerful and wields even more pressure. Father God, Prison Race Devil Ancestor, Shock Demon Ancestor, and the other Supreme Masters were all nervous. They were struggling and burning their godly bodies, trying to become larger. Shahua Island leader started to transmit his voice to all the Universe Masters from Freedom Alliance. Separate. Each team from the Freedom Alliance immediately broke into 3 or 4 teams, with each team carrying around 20 Universe Masters. They tried to run away separately. The human team only has Star Tower and Black Prison Tower, so they can't be that efficient. Separate now so that the humans can't capture many Universe Masters. Shahua Island leader was already 3 billion kilometers tall and still trying to grow larger. He was in the Freedom Alliance, so he was closer to true treasure palaces belonging to the Freedom Alliance. Separate. 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 One team from the Freedom Alliance was just captured while Shahua Island leader protected another team. There were still 4 teams left. Their members started to split up. Each team had around 20 Universe Masters, some of them had bodies, so there were a bit more than 20 bodies. The combination of those 20 godly bodies was already more powerful than top tier level 6, and it had reached level 7. Attacks at level 7 could at least blast away the godly power ocean around them so they could fly slowly. If there had been fewer of them, they wouldn't have been able to even move in the godly power ocean. Luo Feng and Darkness Master stared at the 4 true treasure palaces flying in 4 different directions. Swallow, Darkness Master said and waved his hand. Black Prison Tower flew out, bulging, and starting to swallow. Luo Feng frowned. They are starting to disperse. It's going to be harder. Those separated true treasure palaces flew slowly and were not far from each other. But even though they were not far, it would take more time. And with time flying by, the teams from the Freedom Alliance would be farther from each other. Ancient God Eye and Black Prison Tower combined, swallowed the green, boat-sized true treasure palace. The Universe Masters inside could do nothing to resist it. Capture. 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 With Ancient God Eye and Black Prison Tower combined, the human team tried to capture as many true treasure palaces as possible. With time going by, Shahua Island leader was already 8 billion kilometers tall. He reached his hands and grabbed a true treasure palace. Come here. The Universe Masters inside the true treasure palace didn't struggle. Instead, they cheered, Alliance Master. Shahua Island leader took it back easily. No, said Luo Feng. One of the true treasure palaces was taken by Shahua Island leader. He was getting nervous. Shahua Island leader was the closest one to the palaces, so he was the first to act. There were other Universe Supreme Masters in the United Forces Alliance, too. Empress Palace would enter the area soon. I'll capture them as many as possible. Luo Feng stopped thinking. On the human side, every possible asset was being utilized: the Godly Power Ocean, 5-color Aurora Lake, Palm Universe, Ancient God Eye, Star Tower, and Black Prison Tower. Luo Feng's remote ocean was blocking those Universe Supreme Masters and was also performing Duan Mir to maintain its maximum power. But it still took time to capture them. The largest object from the United Forces Alliance in remote ocean was Empress Palace, which was already 200 billion kilometers tall. Empress Palace was surrounded by Godly Power Ocean winding around it, controlling the palace. That Luo Feng's a handful. Bug Empress said begrudgingly. If Luo Feng's Godly Power Ocean hadn't been winding around it, Empress Palace would have been 10 times taller, and all the true treasure palaces from the Freedom Alliance would have been saved. Go? Save us, Bug Empress. Come in. Come in. A long white arm extended out of the giant Empress Palace and grabbed the palace true treasures. The Universe Masters inside didn't resist, making Bug Empress's efforts much more effective. Bug Empress and Shahua Island leader were both trying to take as many true treasure palaces as possible. As for Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Mosha Body, they were divided into 2 teams capturing the true treasure palaces. Finally, other than the 11 giant godly bodies and the towering Empress Palace, there were no true treasure palaces from the United Forces Alliance left in remote ocean. Apparently, they had all been taken. In the endless Godly Power Ocean, Mosha Body, Luo Feng's original body, and Darkness Master stood side by side, checking on the Universe Masters they had captured. Darkness Master sighed. We tried our best. Empress Palace is too large, and the Universe Masters from the Freedom Alliance cooperated with her. We've only captured 208 Universe Masters. Far fewer than I expected. He sighed again, but when he and Luo Feng exchanged eye contact, they couldn't hold it back anymore. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng and Darkness Master started to guffaw, laughing recklessly with relief. After this fight, nobody would be a threat to the humans anymore. Luo Feng, Darkness Master, and Mosha Body flew at high speed in the tumbling godly power ocean. They quickly reached light speed and entered the dark universe. They showed up 100 billion kilometers away, gathering with other universe masters from the human team. Luo Feng. Darkness. The universe masters from the human team were all thrilled, especially the human universe masters. They weren't sure how many universe masters had been captured, but Primal Chaos City leader could infer from his palm universe. He knew how many true treasure palaces were captured, and he could infer the quantity. Primal Chaos City leader said it was around 200. Milky Way Horde leader, how many universe masters did you capture? Yeah, how many? How many universe masters? The universe masters of other races were also excited. This was a legendary event which might not have happened in other universe eras. After all, so much was required to capture over 100 universe masters. How many? Luo Feng, Darkness, Ice Mountain Master and Remote Lord Master all asked, and even Primal Chaos City leader was looking at them expectantly. Luo Feng and Darkness Master exchanged a glance. 208, said Luo Feng. Ha! Long Yang Master yelled. Primal Chaos City leader's eyes gleamed, and he shouted, wonderful. Impressive. 208. They captured more than 200 universe masters at one time. I've never heard of such a thing. It's a miracle in universe ocean. Universe masters of other races were all exclaiming. The 3 ancestral gods, the 8 beast gods, and 9 remoteness master were all amazed. Everyone was overjoyed. Darkness Master was still shaking his head. Shame. When we were capturing the true treasure palaces, those universe masters from the Freedom Alliance were all resisting us, which cost us time. Otherwise, we could have captured more. The resistance from the opposite side had indeed made Luo Feng and Darkness Master much less efficient. For instance, when they were trying to swallow the palaces, the opposite side shrank their true treasure palaces. The true treasure palaces were generally normal-sized at several million kilometers long. When they were being sucked in, those true treasure palaces shrank to the size of a speck of dust, making them much farther away from Black Prison Tower. Even if they were flying at 100,000 kilometers a second, it still took them a long time to be sucked in. Of course, Luo Feng and Darkness Master had their ways to cope with it. All in all, the Freedom Alliance had been trying to resist being sucked in, or at least stall for time, which was why half the members from the Freedom Alliance had gotten away even though Luo Feng had remote ocean. However, capturing half was good enough for the humans. Universe Masters from the human team gathered while those from United Forces Alliance were trapped in remote ocean. All 11 Universe Supreme Masters were enlarging their bodies, trying to escape from remote ocean. However, they struggled against the ocean waters. Although Luo Feng was burning his godly power, he didn't care about that at all. After all, compared to the entire remote ocean, the godly power being burned was nothing. Get in, Bug Empress said through her mind. Everyone, get in. Okay. Okay. Shahua Island leader reached out his hands and grabbed the edge of Empress Palace. He shrank and clung to the surface of Empress Palace. Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, Father God, Ju, Black Universe Creator, and the others all grabbed onto the surface of Empress Palace. None of the Universe Supreme Masters got into the palace. They didn't dare. If they went it, their lives would be in the hands of Bug Empress. They were all carrying Universe Masters. Bug Empress wasn't carrying many Universe Masters, so she wouldn't turn on them yet, but if they got in and she did turn on them, she would control great power and become the reigning being in the original universe. All 11 Universe Supreme Masters clung to the surface of Empress Palace. Larger, larger, larger. Bug Empress said, controlling the palace. Empress Palace was growing larger and larger. With Empress Palace becoming larger, the Universe Supreme Masters were also moving forward swiftly. Luo Feng turned around and shook his head. It was easy for a Supreme True Treasure to be taller than several light years, like Star Tower, which could reach 9 light years. With endless godly power, Empress Palace could be taller than more than 10 light years. His remote ocean body was after a godly body which couldn't bulge indefinitely. Luo Feng stopped hindering them after a short while, as Empress Palace was already over 1 trillion kilometers. Back! That remote ocean that was already 1 trillion kilometers long started to retract. Empress Palace faced much less resistance and suddenly became larger. All 11 Universe Supreme Masters fled out of remote ocean. A being in human form, engulfed in flames, floated and exclaimed, "Finally, we got out." Luo Feng's godly power ocean is indeed a handful. Without Empress Palace, it would have taken us a much longer time to get out, Father God from the automaton race sighed. Facing the endless remote ocean, individuals couldn't flee immediately, the only way was to fly slowly. The three ancestral gods couldn't control five-color Aurora Lake to continuously suppress them, and Primal Chaos City Leader couldn't control Palm Universe all the time, as it required too much godly power. Only Luo Feng dared to consume his godly power as much as he wanted. If he was the only one trying to slow them down, they could at least reach 1/10 light speed. It was difficult to move remote ocean, so Luo Feng had to keep enlarging remote ocean to stop them. However, he couldn't enlarge it infinitely, and he certainly couldn't enlarge the ocean to 10 light years long. The United Forces Alliance could fly for 10 years or 100 years and leave the ocean. Fortunately, said Shock Demon Ancestor in a low voice. It's almost impossible for him to move that ocean. No wonder Star Tower didn't move at all, it was hiding the endless godly power ocean the whole time. It's difficult to move, which means Luo Feng can't take the godly power ocean out for battle. Even if the Supreme True Treasure holds the godly power ocean, it can only stay in one spot. Everyone nodded. It was true. After having the godly power ocean in it, even Star Tower couldn't enter the God Country portal, as it would have shattered the portal. If Luo Feng stands still, or a boat of Mausoleum or Star Tower stands still, we'll try to avoid them, said Northern Territory Alliance Master. If he can move easily, it means he doesn't carry his godly power ocean. After that war, Luo Feng was at the top of the list for those Universe Supreme Masters, and they were extremely careful. He was absolutely a risk who should be treated seriously. Although the godly power ocean is enormous, Luo Feng's soul is a human soul to its core. Prison Race Devil Master said. Once he becomes a Universe Supreme Master, he'll return to the origin, and his bodies will be combined in one, turning back to a human. His godly power ocean is enormous, but it's bestowed by the original universe. Once he makes a breakthrough, his God Country will become a miniature universe. His bodies will be combined as one, and his human godly body won't take that much power. Lots of godly power will be consumed when combining the bodies. Then his godly power won't be so incredible. That's right, everyone exclaimed. Yes. When he becomes a Universe Supreme Master and all the bodies return to his original body, he won't be such a handful in the original universe. Luo Feng now had 4 bodies. All of them could wield power at top tier level 6, yet Universe Supreme Masters only had 1 body. Besides, Luo Feng's endless ocean had limitless godly power, so he was more difficult to deal with than Universe Supreme Masters. Of course, that was the case in the original universe. In Universe Ocean, Universe Supreme Masters were still more terrifying. After becoming a Universe Supreme Master, he'll be on his own. Bodies and inherited techniques will both be gone, Ju sighed. However, it's different for 9 Remoteness Master, as his original body is that godly power ocean. Even if he becomes a Supreme Master in the future, his godly body will still be the godly power ocean. Ju, Black Universe Creator, Northern Territory Alliance Master, and Shahua Island Leader were not worried, as they didn't have races to care for. However, Shock Demon Ancestor, Dream Demon Ancestor, and Prison Race Devil Master were all concerned about the fight. Please stop talking about Luo Feng. We've lost the fight, Space Beast Ancestor said in his ancient voice. What should we do now? That's right, what should we do? Father God from the automaton race was worried as well. Northern Territory Alliance Master shook his head. What can we do? The human team captured more than 200 Universe Masters. As long as Luo Feng, Primal Chaos City Leader, and the other leaders from the human team are suicidal, they won't kill those Universe Masters. Instead, they'll try to draw them to their side. Those captured Universe Masters will surrender to the humans very soon, for themselves and for their races as well. Lots of Universe Masters in the Freedom Alliance are close friends with them, and some of them even belong to the same race, so more will be drawn to the humans. Right now, the human team has more than 400 Universe Masters. As for us, we only have more than 600 even after counting those from the Freedom Alliance. Although we have quite a few Universe Supreme Masters, Luo Feng has 4 bodies. Plus, we can't forget Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness Master, Pengong Master, and the 3 Ancestral Gods. Combined, they are almost as powerful as us. Although we have more Universe Masters, they have 2 Mind Shock valuables, so they can easily sweep across 2 of our teams. Besides, the humans will definitely choose the 2 teams with most members. If we divide them into too many teams, we'll have weak defense and be conquered one by one. Which means the only advantage we have is neutralized by the two mind shock valuables. They also have a valuable that can control space and time, and the power seems to be stronger than Domain Supreme True Treasures. We don't have any chance to win, and we can only remain locked in a stalemate. It's a lose-lose. This video will end here.